Every minute, 20 people in the United States experience physical abuse by an intimate partner. That's more than 10 million victims each year. These numbers are stark, chilling. They paint a picture of an unsettling reality that many people, perhaps even someone you know, are living through every day. The statistics are more than just numbers on a page. They represent real people, real lives, real stories of struggle and survival. Behind every statistic there's a face, a name, a life marked by the pain of an abusive relationship. It might be the quiet woman who lives next door, the friendly guy at the gym, or even a family member you've known your whole life. The prevalence of this issue is both shocking and heartbreaking. In the United States alone, the number of people who fall prey to abusive relationships is staggering. It's a problem that crosses all boundaries: race, gender, age, socioeconomic status. No one is immune. No one is inherently safe. Yet many remain ignorant or oblivious either by choice or lack of awareness. They remain blissfully unaware of the magnitude of this issue, the depth of its impact, the sheer scale of its reach. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but swallow it we must. Because awareness is the first step to understanding, and understanding is the first step to change. Abuse isn't always visible. It doesn't always leave a mark. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's a whisper in the dark. A cruel word, a controlling behavior, a pattern of manipulation and dominance that slowly, insidiously, erodes the victim's sense of self, their freedom, their very life. But what exactly constitutes an abusive relationship? Let's delve deeper. Sarah, a successful lawyer, found herself trapped in an abusive relationship for years. Sarah was a high achiever. Her sharp mind and unwavering commitment led her to the top of her profession. But even with her success, she found herself entangled in a relationship that slowly, subtly began to erode her confidence and sense of self. The man she loved, the man she thought she knew, began to criticize her relentlessly. Nothing Sarah did was good enough. Her victories in court were met with indifference, her home-cooked meals with disdain, and her attempts to please him seemed to only fuel his contempt. Constant criticism became a haunting melody of their relationship, a song that played so often that Sarah started to believe its lyrics. Sarah was also isolated. Her partner, under the guise of love and concern, started to cut her off from her friends and family. He'd make her feel guilty for spending time with others, subtly suggesting that her loyalty was in question. Before she knew it, Sarah was alone, her world shrinking to the size of their shared apartment, and her once vibrant social life reduced to the occasional monitored phone call. And then there was control. It started with small things, what she should wear, what she should eat. But it grew, encompassing bigger decisions about her career, her finances, even her own body. It was a slow, insidious process that left Sarah feeling like a marionette, her strings pulled by someone else's whims. Sarah's experience, though deeply personal, is far from unique. It's a chilling illustration of emotional and psychological abuse, a type of maltreatment that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Sarah's story isn't unique. Millions of people worldwide experience similar circumstances. It's a sobering reminder that abuse can happen to anyone, regardless of their background or profession, and that recognizing the subtle signs is the first step towards breaking free. John, a caring father, was another victim of an abusive relationship. John was your typical family man, always attentive to his children's needs, working tirelessly to provide for his family. He was the epitome of a loving partner, the kind of man who would bend over backwards to make his wife happy. But behind this facade of a perfect family was a grim reality John was too afraid to confront. John's story is one many of us would find hard to believe. He wasn't the stereotypical victim. He was a strong, capable man. Yet, he was trapped in a relationship where he was constantly belittled, controlled, and physically harmed. There were signs, of course. There always are. Unexplained bruises were often dismissed as accidents or clumsiness. His fear of his partner was mistaken for simple anxiety or stress from work. His once vibrant personality began to dim, replaced with a quiet, subdued version of the man he once was. John's friends noticed changes. He was no longer the life of the party. His laughter, once contagious, became a rare sound. He stopped participating in his favorite activities and became more isolated. But when confronted, John would always assure everyone that he was just tired, that work had been demanding. He was, in fact, a victim of physical abuse. His partner's rage often left him with visible marks. But John, like many victims of abuse, felt trapped. He feared for his safety and the welfare of his children. He felt ashamed, believing that as a man, he should be able to protect himself and his family. It took a serious incident for John to finally seek help. It was a wake-up call that forced him to acknowledge the abuse and take steps towards safety. John's reality is a stark reminder that abuse isn't gender-specific. It can happen to anyone, regardless of their strength, their status, or their gender. John's story is a call to action for all of us to be more vigilant, to recognize the signs of abuse, and to support those who are caught in its vicious cycle. Identifying an abusive relationship isn't always easy. This statement rings true for many, and it's often because the signs can be subtle, cloaked in a guise of love or concern. But it's crucial to be vigilant and understand these signs in order to protect oneself and others. Take Sarah's story, for example. She lived in constant fear of her partner, a classic sign of an abusive relationship. This fear can manifest in different ways, from worrying about their partner's mood swings to being scared of speaking up or expressing their feelings. It's like walking on eggshells, anticipating the next eruption. Then, there's the feeling of isolation. Abusers often employ tactics to cut their victims off from their support network, making them feel alone and vulnerable. John was made to believe that his friends were bad influences, causing him to drift away from them. This isolation is a calculated move by the abuser to gain more control. The constant criticism is another red flag. Sarah was belittled and demeaned regularly, leading her to doubt her worth. This constant erosion of self-esteem is a powerful tool in the hands of an abuser, keeping their victims in a state of insecurity and dependence. Physical harm, though not present in every abusive relationship, is a clear and undeniable sign of abuse. John was physically harmed by his partner, a stark reminder that abuse is not limited to emotional or psychological forms. Lastly, changes in personality can be indicative of an abusive relationship. Friends and family might notice that the person has become more withdrawn, anxious, or depressed. Sarah, once vibrant and outgoing, became a shadow of her former self as her relationship progressed. Recognizing these signs is the first step towards seeking help and breaking free. It's about understanding that no one deserves to live in fear, to be isolated, criticized, or harmed. The journey to safety might seem daunting, but it begins with the courage to acknowledge the situation and take that first step. Escaping an abusive relationship is a challenging, yet crucial step. The path to safety can seem daunting, but remember, there are resources and strategies available designed to help you navigate this journey. Initially, it's vital to establish a safety plan. This plan should include crucial elements like a safe place to stay, a support system, and an emergency contact list. You may also want to keep copies of important documents like your identification, social security card, and any legal papers in a secure location that's easy for you to access. Reach out to a domestic violence hotline. These hotlines are staffed with trained professionals who can provide you with advice, resources, and emotional support. They can guide you toward local services like shelters and legal aid, and help you understand your rights. Remember, these calls are confidential and can be made anonymously. Support groups can also be a lifeline. By connecting with others who have walked in your shoes, you can gain strength, validation, and advice. These groups can be found locally or even online, providing a safe space to share your experiences and learn from others. Legal protections are another key aspect of your path to safety. Laws vary from place to place, but generally restraining orders or protection orders can be obtained. Legal aid services can help you understand and navigate these complicated legal processes. Finally, don't forget about self-care. This journey is undoubtedly tough, but taking care of your mental and physical health is integral to your overall well-being. Seek out therapy or counseling if it's available to you, and don't hesitate to lean on your support system. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to take these steps. You're not alone in this journey, and there are many people and organizations ready and willing to provide assistance. Remember, no one deserves abuse. Everyone deserves respect, love, and safety in their relationships.